We haven't much time, friends.
Welcome to Mimiron. Okay,
Okay,
this is a 4-phase fight, and this is the first time we took down this boss, so it got a little messy towards the end, but it got the job done. Now this video is actually quite long, and to keep it under 10 minutes, because I don't really like to go over 10 minutes, I'm going to describe actually in the fight rather than using ability screens before the fight, like in my other videos. Okay, so phase 1, Leviathan Mark 2. Positioning. You see you've got the circles on the ground. Well, about halfway between the inner circle and the outer circle is where the ranged are standing, with the tank tanking the boss right in the middle, and melee directly behind where the boss currently is. Make sure you avoid, this is the melee, avoid the mines. And the boss has 3 main abilities. First of all, Napalm Shell, which does 10,000 damage and leaves a 6,000 damage dot per second for 8 seconds. You'll see it firing off against certain players, and they'll be encased in a fireball. The next thing he's got is Plasma Blast. This is a 3-second cast time which does 30k damage per sec for 6 secs. Now, this shouldn't be hitting anyone else by your main tank, so make sure you heal through it. The last thing he's got is Shock Blast. This is a 5-second cast which should be sufficient time for your tank and your melee to run out of the way, avoiding the mines, so that the 100,000 nature damage blast that's about to occur within 15 yards of the boss doesn't affect anybody. The tank runs back in, the melee wait in case the tank has to reposition, and carries on as before. And that's basically phase 1. Okay, phase 2. First of all, let those mines explode and despawn. Once they've gone, move into the inner circle. Whilst it can be argued that you're going to get more players hit by the rapid burst attack, you can actually get more players healed, and that's more beneficial at this point. Okay, so the first ability he's got is called Heat Wave. You'll see an explosion of heat radiate out from the boss doing 10,000 damage. It leaves on every player a 5 damage dot doing 3,000 damage per second for 5 seconds. It's a healing nightmare, this fight, and this just adds to it. Secondly, you'll see him twist around and do something called Rapid Burst, which rapidly shoots a machine gun attack to a bunch of players in the direction it's facing. Again, just needs to be healed through, there's nothing you can do about that. Third thing he's got is Rocket Strike. You'll see 2 kind of points, red points appear on the floor. If it's beneath you or near you, you need to move out of the way, because the 2 rockets that are shot by the boss to land at these 2 locations does 5 million points of damage, so as you can imagine you're not going to survive that. And the last attack that he's got in this phase is something called Spinning Up, which leads to the Laser Barrage. Basically, if you stand in front of it, you're dead, so you're going to have to move around. Either that's moving around the boss, ice blocking or whatever to get rid of the effect as it goes past you. Whatever happens, by the time it's finished, make sure you're back into place where you were before, so you can carry on with the fight. In our raids, we tend to have people at set locations so they know where to go back to, so you've got equal spreading of players around the boss, which kind of evens out the amount of damage in any one location.
Thank you, friends! Your efforts have yielded some fantastic data! Now, where did I put... Oh, no, there it is!
Phase 3, the Aerial Command Unit. First of all, and I should have said this at the start of the fight, make sure you've got free-for-all looting up. That's because the assault bots that appear drop magnetic cores which designated players will pick up to bring the boss down to the floor at designated locations. You'll see our raid team split between an area that is dealing with the collection of assault bots and trash bots. This is away from where the bomb bot spawns, and the bomb bot spawns directly underneath where the Aerial Command Unit is. The Aerial Command Unit is tanked off to one side by a Warlock tank, who gains ag right at the start with the help of a couple of MDs. So the trash bots are just picked up and collected and held by the tanks, just ignore them and heal through the damage they cause. The assault bots, well, while your Aerial Command Unit is in the air, the assault bots have focus and DPS priority. Unless, and I repeat, unless the bomb bot that has very low health is spawned, in which case you have to take him out before he reaches your main team. It does about 25,000 points worth of fire damage in a 5-yard radius, so you need to make sure you take that out. They can be slowed, As soon as they appear, you should have macros targeting to burn them down. Keep frost traps down there, whatever it takes to slow it down and kill it before it reaches the boss. Now as the assault bots go down, a designated player is going to be picking up the magnetic core, going over to where the aerial command unit is and laying it down. Reason being, when you pull that down to the floor, you can do about twice as much damage as you can when it's in the air, so you focus all DPS on that target and burn it down as quickly as you can. So, to repeat, Bombot has initial priority of DPS, followed by Assault Bot, ignore the trash bots, and when the aerial command unit has been brought down to the ground, focus target, focus DPS on that target. It'll go back in the air after a few seconds and you resume your attack on the nearest assault bot. Because the assault bots do a lot of damage to your tanks, you can't just focus on the aerial command unit because you don't have enough time to burn that target down before you get overrun with assault bots, so there's no point. Make sure you've only got one assault bot at any point in time and all will go well. Once the aerial command unit is dead, simply AoE down the rest of the mobs you've got and move back to the position you were in for phase 2 in readiness for phase 4.
Gaze upon its magnificence! Bask in its glory!
Okay, phase 4. Voltron, this is where you face everything that you faced before, all over again, all in one go. You've got 3 targets, the Leviathan Mach 2, the VX-001 and the aerial command unit, so all 3 prior phases all over again. First of all, the Leviathan. In same as phase 1, get a tank on it, centralise it, get your melee behind. The aerial command unit, just like in phase 3, should be tanked by your Warlock, and to minimise damage from the VX-001 you need to have your team spread out in a circle, reasonably close to target but far enough away from the mines which have reappeared again, so that you minimise the damage to any single quarter, if you like, of the circle of the raid. Okay, so you've got Shock Blast, which is done by the Leviathan Mach 2. It's the 100,000 nature damage attack, so you need to make sure that your melee move away when he's casting it. Remember, it's a 5-second cast time and you need to move quick. Get back in place afterwards because you don't want him to start moving all over the room, otherwise you won't know how to avoid the mines and it'll be very difficult to minimise raid damage. VX-001. It's got a hand pulse, which is similar to the rapid burst that you had before, but it's kind of a laser effect, which does twice as much damage as it did last time, just for your healing pleasure. So heal through it. Rocket Strike, exactly the same as before. Dodge the 2 spots on the floor that it appears. And the laser barrage, which looks a bit more effective now, is exactly the same as before. You just need to make sure you dodge it. Anybody getting caught in it is going to get killed. Finally, the aerial command unit's got the plasma ball that it was using before, which should only be hitting your Warlock for reduced damage than 15,000 damage, which it would be doing to anybody else. Okay, so targeting. You have melee taking out the Leviathan, you have ranged taking out the aerial, with both melee and ranged combining their attack on the VX-001 later on. Ranged, if you find that the aerial command unit, if you find that you're getting higher threat on that command unit, swap your damage to the VX-001. There is no threat list, and you can keep on DPSing that because you're going to have to get it down anyway. A note at this point is to say that all 3 targets must die simultaneously, otherwise they heal. And that's the way it goes. So range take out the top target, melee take out the bottom target, meet in the middle, take all 3 down at the same time, and job's good. And that's about it. Good luck.
It would appear that I made a slight miscalculation. I allowed my mind to be corrupted by that fiend in the prison, overriding my primary directive. All systems seem to be functional now. Clear.